Let's bring this first module into some sort of real world focus. And apologies, I'm noticing it's really gloomy. It's kind of the end of the day, and I don't have studio recording conditions, so my apologies for that. But let's get back to what I was talking about initially. What I want to try and do is bring some of what you're exploring in Module 1 into some sort of relevant focus that's going to help you through Assignment 1. And I'll follow up, by the way, by posting a transcript of this this discussion, and that'll include a range of embedded readings that you can explore further. So through the opening pages of the set reading from Bawden and Robinson, you'll see that they suggest a number of different perspectives, a number of different criteria, a number of different ways of looking at this idea of the information society. So let's focus in on 5 of the perspectives that they suggest. I think they're really helpful for us in terms of exploring that Australian context, or in fact if you're in Hong Kong, in terms of exploring the context over in Hong Kong. So I think these 5 criteria that they use in talking about the information society: the economic, the occupational, the technological, political, and socio-cultural. Let's draw on those 5 perspectives. Let's make those the 5 that you focus on in Assignment 1. If you want to broaden out and go a little further in terms of exploring some of the other ideas that Bawden and Robinson touch upon, then that's absolutely fine. But let's ensure that those 5 at least are covered. Okay. So what we need to do is have a look around at what's happening and see if there are things that are happening that might fit with the kinds of perspectives that Bawden and Robinson are suggesting. And in that way, we can say, well, from this perspective, Australia does look like an information society, or Australia doesn't look like an information society. There's no, it doesn't have to be a yes/no kind of answer. It can be more fluid than that. There's room for shades of grey. Okay, so what I'm going to do, and you'll find the kind of material that I'm going to refer to in the transcript, which I'll circulate. Okay, what I'm going to do is provide a set, let's call it a reading list, a set of core material that you can use to explore the essay question. And you really should draw on this kind of material. It's current, it's relevant, it's good quality, but it's also quite accessible. I've drawn from material that's quite journalistic in tone, so it's easy for you to dive into. So it's the kind of material that we'd like to see informing your assignments. So what I'm saying is that you should use this material as you work towards Assignment 1. Show us that you're using this material. And of course, build on that. Build on that with your own research process. That's a big part of learning to learn and learning to develop your own capabilities as a researcher and as an information expert, in fact. So there are several pieces that are from the ABC. And each of these pieces from the ABC is offered both as a transcript, a kind of text version of the discussion, or as an audio clip. They're often maybe 15 minutes, 20 minutes. They're not lengthy, so again, it's quite easy to digest them. So you can choose what your preference is in terms of engaging with that kind of material. But I think the audio is really helpful to get into, and it's usually a conversational kind of tone to the material. So what you'll see as you engage with the resources that I'm supplying here is that with the ABC pieces especially, you need to scroll right down through the web page to find the link to the full audio version at the bottom of the web page, usually, not always, but usually. Okay, so often for the longer pieces on the ABC sites, they have a snippet, a little excerpt of the audio, sort of high up amongst the textual material. But if you scroll down, you'll get the full audio, and if you want to digest the material that way, then that's really helpful to do. That might sound complicated, but it's not. You'll see what I mean once you start engaging with the material. So these resources help us to explore what's happening in Australia. They allow us to do some horizon scanning to see what kind of events are shaping what's happening in Australia, and they can be used as the kind of evidence that you might supply to support or even reject the kinds of criteria that Bawden and Robinson propose. So please do explore.